All
All
right.
right.
We have a demonstration lined up this evening. Doug is from Kentucky, is going to be doing a demonstration. This is one I really didn't know how to describe. He's shown us some pieces in recent weeks that has got some decoration on the surface. He's done other bowls and platters and wide edge pieces that he's put surface decoration on. I have one on my lathe I'm working on, and I 3 times I've taken the decoration off because I think, you know what, I could do this, I can do that and such, and I have every tool in the world to do that with, apparently. But I'm playing with it, and then I saw Doug's demonstration, and I'm thinking I could have left it flat and did this process. Doug, are you with us this evening?
I'm here.
All right.
I'm here.
This is Doug Miller. He's one of our co-hosts. He's out of Kentucky, and it's time to see what he's got.
All right. Just for time's sake, I went ahead. I've just got a piece of plywood here tonight that I'm going to demonstrate on. But you can imagine this is the top of the bowl. You've already turned the bottom. You've got it ready. You reversed it. You've flattened off the top, or maybe even a soft dome on there, and then spray it black. Some places they'll use ebonizing lacquer, which is nothing more than a pigmented lacquer, usually acrylic based, but sometimes it is actually lacquer. This is what I've used is just black gloss spray paint. In fact, I've got the can right here, Rust-Oleum Universal gloss paint. It's got the real nice front trigger, so it's except when the nozzle clogs, and then it's not worth a hoot. I'm using Joe Sonia paints. They are iridescent paints. I've got a little starter kit just to experiment with, and they come in these little nice, pretty little tubes. What is that? 2/3 of an ounce. 6 colors come in the kit, so you get to experiment. For this process, it's really good to use a flow medium. They come from various companies. This is just one I picked up at one of our hobby shops. I've already squirted a few drops into 3 plastic tubs here. And so it's ready to go. And I'm just going to squirt a little bit of paint into each one of these. Probably 4 or 5 drops. It doesn't drop real well. But I want to show you something real interesting with this particular brand of iridescent paint. They are different colors. You will see the colors very vividly here in a minute. But when they come out of the tube, they all come out just like that. Can you see that? It's they all come out kind of a creamy white. And so you really need some way to keep it straight. A lot of people will put their paint tubes or bottles right behind their mixing cups. I've got my 3 spots labeled, plus I've got my sticks labeled. But I'm just going to mix that paint with that flow medium so that it's all kind of one together. It's not real critical. This is the paint is acrylic paint. You can thin it with water, but the point of the flow medium is so that the paint is the color of the paint is not thinned out. If you use water, your pigments are going to be thin, and so they become a little more pastel. Typically, this way they will stay just as vibrant as they were. I don't know the chemistry of the flow medium, but I just know it works. So, and if you find you don't have enough, you can always add just a touch more flow medium instead of going back and adding more paint. Paints are like everything else. They've gotten a little expensive the last several months. And so it pays to not waste. So I've got my colors mixed. Each one has its own stick. And what I'm going to do, this is what I've got to spread it with is some yarn. I can't tell you what size yarn that is. It's pretty small. It's nothing special. I'm sure it is. It's not cotton or wool. It's probably an acrylic of some type. I'm just going to stick that down into the paint, mix it around, make sure the string is covered well.
Is that a Hobby Lobby product?
What, the yarn?
Yeah.
Could be.
Okay.
It doesn't, wherever.
Joann's Fabrics.
Yeah, anywhere you can find it.
Dollar store.
First time I saw this process,
It looks like a special import out of Ireland.
The yarn, it could be. This is not. But anyway, first time I saw this process, I thought, well, that is so crazy. In fact, I didn't see the process. I saw the finished product. I thought there's no way I'll ever be able to do that. But then I saw how it's done. Wayne Clasper over in England does this quite a bit. He does not take credit for it. He saw somebody else do it in a flat medium and just started wondering, how can I do this myself on a turning? So I've mixed the paint, the yarn into the paint. Now I'm just pressing it down with my stick onto the wood just to make sure I get good contact. Now I'm just going to pull in a straight line. What you see.
String pulls are not new. They've been used in flat work for quite a while.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Very nice.
That people have started doing it on bowls, and in fact, we've got there's a group on YouTube that is doing a cross-channel challenge, and this month's theme for the challenge is water. Well, I was going to do another process, which is about as crazy, where it's a water droplet process on a bowl. And I saw somebody else do it. Well, I mentioned that, and Wayne said, don't do it on a bowl, do it on a vase. It'll work. So I'm probably going to do a secondary process, but none of these processes are new. Matt, you're exactly right. These processes, most of them have all been around for a long time. It's just we haven't taken advantage of some of the things and brought them over.
Merge it into our discipline, right?
Yeah.
There's a way to do these string pulls when your piece is rotating too. If you've got a lazy Susan or something, you can set up a couple strings and then you slowly rotate your piece while you use a stick or something to pick the strings up, and you get this really cool spiral pattern when the piece all pulls together. So there's a couple of ways to do it.
Absolutely.
That's neat. I'm going to be trying that on some of my big bowls. That's nice.
It looks great on the side of a vase too.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
String pull works really well on a vase.
Yep.
Now, Ronnie, you're going to love this. So there you go. Had this been sanded down real well, these would come out a good bit smoother. But there you have.
Now, the third one, you didn't press it out with a stick before you pulled it.
Right.
Yeah, right. At least not as much.
No, and it gave a lighter touch to it.
Right, and gives it a little more openness. But these colors will now develop as they dry. You already see purple, green, and gold, but over the next 45 minutes to an hour as these paints dry, especially the gold will come to life. The gold will as well. Well, and the purple will too. They come out of the tube creamy white, and then they make the colors reflecting off of the black. I wondered at one time, would it work out on other colors? And I was told any dark color is great. But then I saw somebody help me out. Chris is his first name. He's a blind wood turner over in England.
Fisher.
Yes, thank you, Chris Fisher. He did it on white, and it was amazing. It was more pastel, not quite as iridescent, but it does work. So
you can use any paint. Any acrylic paint works great.
Doug, I have a question for you.
I've used the metallics, so it works great.
Yeah, metallics work real good. What is it, Ronnie?
What about when as it sits right now, how much of a hump do you have between the paint? Like when you go to finish it and you run your hand across it, are you going to feel a hump from the paint?
Yes.
Like texture, breeze texture.
Right now, yeah,
Yes.
you're going to feel it. But since I use the flow medium and thin the paint, it's going to be minimal.
It'll slightly settle as it dries, right?
Right.
So it's kind of self-leveling.
Yes.
So-
Now this one, you can feel those,
Mhm.
but it's flatter than it looks. That looks pretty 3D, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Well-
love that water drop effect. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty flat. And I've only got 4 coats of lacquer on it so far. Have not knocked it back yet. So it's got about, I don't know, 15, 16 more coats of lacquer and a good bit of leveling before I'm done with that. But that's going to be my water entry.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Doug, have you got enough room on that to do another one?
One of the things we've done to get a really good backdrop is to use like the black gesso or something
Yeah.
to put a decent coat on, and then sand it with the 600, 800 or something to get a really good smooth finish before you do
Yes.
the string pull on it. And that's a great way to do the effect. And you could do what he
Absolutely.
just did. You could do it here. He just did, then put it back on the lathe and cut a bowl out of the middle and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
Nice
Doug, have
work,
you got
Doug.
enough room on that board to do another one?
I'm sorry.
Have you got enough room on that board to be able to pull another one
Oh, sure.
just on the side?
Yeah.
If you take two of your colors, put your first string down the same way as you've done all three of them.
Citizen Martin Clarkson out of Great Britain join us, because we are worldwide.
That's it. Put your string down exactly the same as you've done the others. Now take your second color. Take your next string, your next color, and lay it down just next to that one in between the gaps.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
And then take your third color if you really want to, start a bit higher and run that between the gaps. That's it. Don't worry too much about it. You're going to pull it and make a mess anyway.
Right, right. Exactly.
That's it. Now put the two strings together. You can put a third one on if you want.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
do
going
the
for.
third one.
I'm going for my
Go ahead.
third string
You're
here.
gonna go the whole hog and make a complete mess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Might as
Why
well.
not?
And the fun thing is that you can, you
Start
do
out a
this,
bit
you don't
higher.
like it, you knock it off.
Yep. You can sand it right off, start again. Or turn
Right,
it
now
out.
gather the three strings and pull them slowly at the same time.
Yeah. You're talking about a mess, yeah.
Now show it to us.
Now show it to me.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
and-
cool.
Same thing as it dries, it's going to develop and it'll
I-
be neat.
I've tried this technique. It is undoubtedly a lot easier on a flat plate. And the first thing I would say, Doug, to anybody who's going to try this is get yourself a bit of paper and have a go over and over again until you kind of get some type of technique before you start putting it on your woodwork.
Yes.
I have got one, and again, I tried to do the technique, and then I put it onto a piece. I cannot take credit for this because it is not timber. This was an old vase that I purchased from a boot sale, actually. It cost me £5, and it's pot. But I wanted to try the same technique on the vase.
Sure.
So that's what you end up with. And this is pulled with two strings, so you've got the yellow and you've got the white.
Excellent. Yeah.
Nice work, Matt, Martin.
Like I say,
Very nice.
I can't take compliments for the vase because it's not timber.
It
Good
really
stuff.
it's a simple process that really does come out giving you a great result.
Doug, what was the flow medium?
Flow medium. It's what it's
Yeah.
called.
That's the name.
What brand?
This one happens to be Master's Touch Flow Medium. I got that at Michael's, I believe.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it really doesn't matter what the flow medium is,
No,
as long
no.
as it is flow medium.
Right.
And as you were saying, I've done several of these before. What I notice is if the surface is as smooth as possible,
Yes.
you're gonna get a lot smoother and realistic design.
Yeah.
And when I did mine, I actually added the flow medium about pretty close to 50-50. And that gave me, because with Joe Sonia, to be able to see through it, it has to be so diluted with flow medium, not with water. Otherwise, it can dry and it will still show as white or whitish. But if
Yes.
you add enough flow medium, it's gonna make it really see through it. And because you have it on a dark surface, it's gonna really show the really true color of that paint that you're doing.
Right. Right. Yeah,
And
normally, like the bowl that I showed everybody last week that Eddie got so crazy about, that had been sprayed, sanded at 320, sprayed again before I came back and did the Joe Sonia. So it was a smooth surface to begin with. Did the Joe Sonia thin just like we did tonight, and then quite a number of coats of lacquer just to build up and give it that depth. And even a week later, the colors are still developing to some extent. The red has just gotten redder, seems like every day, but never does get red.
Are you using the transparent or the iridescent, or which paints are you using?
The iridescent, Joe Sonia iridescent paints.
Can we get those names turned into the chat today?
They're in the chat.
Way ahead of you.
Oh, wow.
They're in the-
I'm
Thanks,
sorry.
man.
I'm a little slow. I'm crazy over this again.
You can get a rattle can of high gloss black lacquer that goes on real smooth and with a real shiny coat. Works really good underneath those paints.
Yes. Yeah, the black lacquer works very well. Issue is it's about 3 times what this can of gloss black paint is.
Yes.
As far as
yes.
price. Quite expensive. So the
Yes,
paint,
it is.
Black lacquer. You can
Say
dye
again?
you can dye lacquer. You can dye your lacquer and make black lacquer.
yeah, if you're spraying your own, yes.
well, I have also done it where I use black paint, and if it wasn't glossy enough, I just put a coat of lacquer on that before I put the Joe Sonia paints.
That'll work.
Right?
You know, it worked for me. One thing I noticed is if it's really glossy and smooth, sometimes when you pull the Joe Sonia paint with the string, it wants to bead up. If it's really glossy, you have to watch it how glossy you make it, because it wants to bead up for you, because it's so smooth underneath.
You can see a couple of spots like right there and down in
Yes.
here. That's
Yes.
what it is there. It's on a glossy point, and
Yes.
the paint just kind of separated. There's a place right here in the purple as well. But
Exactly.
really, honestly, that adds to it.
Yes. So there's many ways how you can do it. I always learn by practicing. You know, I just do something,
Absolutely.
and how can I improve it in the next time?
Absolutely.
Right.
You're exactly right.
Well, I'm going to jump in here with you and let you guys know that we will not accept any projects with this on it in the near future. Okay, so rules are made to be broken. Go for it. Go for it. Want to see what you do and how you do it. That's why Doug's with us tonight. How do you do it and what do you do? This is a fantastic demonstration.
Yeah.
And you're right. I did go crazy over it, and I'm still crazy over it. I think it's some of the most outstanding art we see around here, and it can change the perspective and the visual of almost anything you turn. So if you have a piece and you turn it and it's ugly, make it pretty. You know, if the grain just won't pop or work, or I really think you may get away with, and Kim will jump in and dance on me if this is wrong. If you get away, you have a piece that cracked, like somebody had a walnut piece that had a crack. Fill the crack with epoxy, sand it back out, blacken it, and put this on the sides of it.
That's exactly what I do, Captain. When I have a piece of wood that, you know, doesn't say anything, there's no character in the wood, but you have the shape, but the grain is blah, like, so that is when I start decorating.
Yep.
And you know, like that zipper vase that I showed you, it was just a plain piece of maple, and I said this is a good candidate to do some decoration on it. If you know, I don't want to decorate or paint something that has really nice, you know, grain or something like that, but plain piece of wood, this is a perfect for that, you know.
Well, we got Doug turned loose here.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Not enough paint in it, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's got all three
That's
colors
like
in it again.
visual MSMR or ASMR video. You can just do that on a bunch of pieces of wood and put it on YouTube. You get 1 million views.
Probably, yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's visually pleasing.
Get some shorts of that, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I've been trying to come up with some ideas for shorts, and that would do it.
Yeah, and folks, he did this for free. You saw a
Yep.
fantastic demonstration, far above most of the club demonstrations I've ever seen. It's for our club, and this is just one great piece of work. I really like it.